Everyone, welcome to another episode of Galactic Ambassadors podcast, where we introduce our recently certified Quantum Soul Guidance Practitioners. My name is Julia Balaz, and today I'm joined by Tiina Launonen from Finland. So Tiina is adding Finnish language to our pool of international practitioners. So I'm deeply grateful to announce that we now have 16 languages available. So that means that even people who don't speak English can avail of Galactic Astrology soul reading service by checking out some of the various languages available on our website. So if you go to galacticastrology.com or galacticastrochart.com and click on the practitioners tab, you will see the languages listed on the top of the page of listed practitioners. And we also have a little feature where you can search by language, and then those practitioners will come up. So really well done, Tiina. I'm so excited for you to be here and look forward to learning about you and hearing your story. How are you today?
Thank you, Julia. I'm very good today. Feeling good.
As we connected just before we started recording, you shared that you actually had a client session today. So it makes me so happy to see you getting busy with readings already, and how it was a really expansive experience, consciousness from really far that came through. So maybe we'll get a chance to share a tiny bit of some of the stories from your clients' readings in this podcast. So Tiina, where would you like to start in terms of your kind of spiritual awakening? When did your awareness of the other side of reality came through for you, where you realized that it's not just what we can see and touch, that there is much more to our life's experience?
Sometimes it seems that my spiritual journey has been kind of a marathon or something, but I think that my intentional spiritual journey has started in 2010-11, when I started to question my life. My life has been changed many times, or I have moved many times. Already since childhood, I was 4 when my parents and my older brother, went to Libya. My father was going there working, construction engineer. So we went to Libya and lived there for 2 years. Actually, I have lived in Libya 4 years in my childhood and 2 years in Iraq. A lot of changes since the beginning. But anyway, probably the spiritual life has started there somehow. Then before I go to more in this intentional journey, I like to show you, I have this kind of my first drawing or painting when I started to paint in 1998. And that's not much of a painting, but just recently, I kind of realized that, okay, this is a blue energy or something. And I must have thought already then that is kind of important for me. I don't remember what I have taught then, but 10 years ago, then I started this kind of a 1-year spiritual school. It's called Free Path. It lasted 1 year. Every month we had a kind of a retreat. And there started it was a mixture of Enneagram, Kundalini yoga, diamond approach, these different kind of teachings. And the Enneagram was this personality type teaching that kind of cracked my ego and my system and my patterns open. And that started kind of a big process for me. It changed a lot at that time. Then from that on, I kind of started to do Kundalini yoga, and I was really into that. And I knew that I want to do something, acknowledge that I am really a truth seeker. And actually, I asked for this spiritual name under this Kundalini yoga tradition, and the name was Satyapal Kaur, which means the seeker of truth, and the one who wants to keep the truth alive, and something like that. Since then, it's been kind of certain for me that I really want to do something like that, something spiritual in my life. but it has been like I haven't really found my way to be of service to or to help, or because I think that the spiritual path for all of us some kind of means that you want to serve the bigger community. But I think it's, for me, it's this 2010-11 time was the first time I quit my job and started to question everything, but then went back to work because I didn't find my way. I started to do something different. I really have tried to kind of find my way in the, what is this 3D world, or how you want to call it, but in corporate world, yeah, I have many professions. I have been doing restaurant work and financial kind of bookkeeping, and then I'm a lawyer, and then I have been an entrepreneur for in all these all these professions. One of the reasons that I kind of started to ask for the big questions was these very challenging relationships that I have had. So those life lessons have urged me to go on. If I go back to 2016-17, that was time that I had been thinking about my dream of having my own restaurant. So then I thought that, okay, if I guess I have to I have to do that, and I did that, and it was a very nice experience. I was able to create a beautiful restaurant, and I had wonderful clients, and it was so beautiful. But then there were terrible challenges also. And at the same time, 2017, I found the course in miracles, and I started to study that. And but it was kind of in a background. It wasn't very intense at that time. 2017 until the end of 2018, I ended this restaurant business, and then I was totally exhausted of the amount of work I had to do. Then was again kind of a point that, okay, what's now? I really don't know what to do in my life. That was in the beginning of 2019. I decided to go on Interrail, and I started in Rome. I was there kind of totally exhausted, that totally lost, that what is my next move? What do I want to do with my life? And then I realized that, okay, I'm not in the mood for interrailing in January in Europe, and I'm I'm too tired, and I decided that I want to go to some retreat or something instead of going somewhere warm or Spain or something. I ended up going or coming to Ireland. I had a solo retreat. There was this beautiful willow tree retreat. There is a Spellman. I don't know if if you know her, but it was nearby Galway. I had there a beautiful few days of retreat, and there happened something. I don't know. We went to see some holy cave. I don't remember exactly, but there was some strong connection to Jesus energy. I haven't been really Christian or religious in my life at all, so that kind of the Jesus has been from the Course in the Miracles is the way I have been learning Jesus lessons, and there was some strong connection. There wasn't any vision or something like that, but it was profound anyway. When I came back from there, I started to study this Course in Miracles a lot. I went totally on that way, but then kind of had to go back to normal work again, and but then 2019, I think that also started big processes, because my mother was diagnosed cancer, And me and my mother there probably have a strong karmic relationship with our family members. And she's Sagittarius, and she's always been very optimistic. And she was very sure that she's going to kind of go through it and she can make it and she will be 100 years and so on. But unfortunately, she didn't have that much time, and it was a strong process, of course, in many ways. But there was these karmic things that started to. She passed away 2021, and also 2021, 22. My son has had also very challenging times. So those years at the same time with the global events and everything going on, those years were very, very strong for me personally. Also, at that time, I started to take these quantum energy healing sessions. I think because I have been thinking that, okay, in what way these kind of otherworldly dimensions have come to my life, and that is the way, because I remember that first time this Andromeda energy came, it was this one energy session, healing session, and I remember that these Andromedans, the first connection was that I just started laughing and giggling, and it was so joyful to meet them. And at the same time, I started to study a lot of astrology, and then I learned astrology, and these energies started to come more and more. And eventually I saw the video with you talking with Pam Gregory. There it kind of started to connect all the stuff, the energy from different worlds and astrology and all the spirituality. So it started to feel that this is my way. But as you know, it's kind of a big process. This course of yours, it's so beautiful, and you have taught everything in it, because it is so beautiful things that we kind of need to take into consider when we are talking about this soul level astrology. It took me more than a year to go through the course, but finally I was, because in this year I started to feel I have been working in the, well, not corporate world, because I was working for the government in the tax office, my latest job. This spring on March, I decided that, okay, I have to leave the job and start to concentrate on this totally. No question about it. I had to do it. And then I just had to also, I first thought that, okay, maybe in 2 months and I will be ready to start doing this galactic astrology, but it took a little bit longer. But I think at this time, what we are living, we have to kind of take our time, our energy, what it takes to really start to do the work that our heart wants to do. So you can't kind of rush it, even though if you would like to. But yeah, this half a year, I've been kind of just going, relaxing on this whole thing. That's the most important parts. There are these moments that you remember that, okay, something started to go maybe different direction.
Quite a journey. Well, as usual, while you speak, or while the podcast is happening, when we learn the life story, I also have the galactic astrology chart of the practitioner, and just marvel at how what manifests in your life is reflected in your galactic astrology chart. So with your permission, I would like to comment on the very early story that you shared from your early childhood when you traveled a lot, or there were changes in your home environment quite frequently because of your father's work. And surprise, surprise, you have Uranus sitting in the fourth house of home, and in Libra. So Uranus is a planet that brings sudden, unexpected changes when things are in motion, everything is going the usual way, and then suddenly an opportunity comes or some external events that cause a complete change and turnaround of how everything was. So for you, this was in fourth house, your home environment, and also connection to your family. So that was the first one that stood out for me. And secondly, you have a really strong and energy-packed fourth house of home and ancestors and connected to the mother. You have what we know as planetary stellium, where 3 or more planets are in one zodiac sign, but you have 6 of them in Libra in fourth house. So including Sun and Lilith, and Uranus, and a few others. So it didn't surprise me then to hear more from your story about the transformational experience, whether it was with your mother when she was going through difficulty. I'm sure some transits were really strongly hitting on the fourth house. But what stood out for me was how you had to move following your father's work assignment to Libya and what was the other country?
Iraq.
Iran.
Iraq.
Oh, Iraq. Okay. Apologies.
Yeah.
So Libya and Iraq. And one of the galactic connections that you have to your fourth house is through Bootes or Bootes constellation. And there's a star called Izar. Let me just quickly check which planet is connecting this to your fourth house. It's Venus that is conjunct Izar star and Bootes constellation. And what, from my experience, people who have conjunction to this star and other aspects too, there is a connection to very ancient soul history, very like deep ancestors on Earth. I always connect Izar immediately to the stories of Old Testament that I was reading as a child. I was, when I learned how to read, my first passion was Greek mythology. And then the second stage for many years was the Old Testament. And I just marveled at those stories. And I have a Pluto conjunct Izar. And every time I see that star connected with my clients or people that I get across, there's always some connection. And it's interesting that you were physically taken there as a child. So although your human aspect was unconscious of the environment and the energies that were occurring, but there is something there that occurs on other levels where it's enough for us to just physically be there. So I presume there's a whole generation of humans on Earth who have outer planets connected to this star. And for a variety of different reasons, they have to travel to these ancient lands, whether it's ancient Egypt or certainly Iran, Iraq, that whole area that is rich in history of our deep ancestors and connection to the sky people, to the extraterrestrial humans that came and interacted with humanity very early on. So, when you mentioned that story that you moved there, I was like, that's the connection. So it's quite fascinating. Your interest. Then when you mentioned your vision for having a restaurant, so I immediately looked at your chart, was looking for clues. Where is that in your astrology? But the fact that you have stellium in Libra is ruled by the planet Venus, and Venus is strongly connected to food and nurturing. And the fourth house that is so active for you is all about creating home, creating nurturing energy for others. So perhaps that mother frequency was coming strongly through that experience. Once you had that out of your way, it shifted, and now it's like the spiritual mother coming through for your clients, perhaps, that can feel safe, nurtured to release, resolve issues, perhaps that were pressing on them for a long time, and then expand in their journey, remembering coming home. Perhaps that's the type of experience or feedback you might be getting from your clients going forward. Would you like, Tiina, would you like to comment on your stellium in fourth house, having 6 planets there in Libra? How was that experience?
Yeah, how I feel this 50 plus years now. I think I've been concentrating on me, on my ancestors, and my who am I, and all is kind of because I'm born in the middle of the night, so I'm interested in the stuff that is underneath and below the surface, and also where I'm coming from. And now I really feel that I'm done done with that. I can move to the Aries, to the other side of the chart, where my Chiron
and your midheaven as well, right? And it's
yes,
conjunct Andromeda.
Yeah, and these transits are all in my Aries
becoming activated.
Yeah, the stellium, the Uranus, strongly I connected with this Andromeda, and the Uranus conjuncting, no, it's opposing my sun and conjuncting my midheaven. So this Uranus, I really strongly connect with this Andromedan freedom seeking, all that is, because I've been also being kind of a solo traveler or traveler all my life. So it's kind of a very Uranian, because the Uranus is like very tied with my sun. So it's very, very, very much me.
Just for clarity, I'll say that your Uranus is conjunct your sun in fourth house, and it's opposing Andromeda, Alpheratz, Alpha Andromeda, which is sitting in your 10th house, conjuncting your midheaven. So yeah, there's this contrast between that freedom seeking being expressed out in the world versus being tied by the roots and conditioning of the family and the ancestors that you were clearing and processing for so many years. But now really you feel like you're finished with that story, incorporating it into your work, supporting others, but really feeling liberated and bringing that Andromedan frequency through. That's powerful.
Yes, yes.
You also have Corvus, constellation star, Alpha Corvi star, Algorab in the fourth house, conjunct several planets there, including Uranus. And in my experience with such alignment, there is an experience of really difficult, heavy, dense energies and through relationships that go back, whether through ancestors or previous incarnations. And there's a lot of them. There's quite an intensity, but at the same time, there is a kind of training or initiation into our ability then to overcome that difficulty and finding the light and being not afraid of darkness and dealing with kind of the invisible world and all kinds of energies that come through extra sensory perception. So do you find that was some of your experience too, where you had to look at some of the shadow side of human experience and relationships and finding a way how to handle it without feeling like a victim, but becoming empowered in that? Would you like to comment on your experience with Corvus and Algorab alignment as you learned about it?
That has really been my experience with relationships. Kind of this issue of being whether being a victim or not. And that is kind of the big journey I have been doing in my spiritual path. I can really say that I'm not afraid of any kind of energies, because in this life I feel that I have felt so many ways insecure or attacked or like that, until I found that okay, I'm kind of asking for that kind of experiences so that I can go through with them and heal that kind of experience, and grow thicker skin and grow out of the victimhood, because that's the big issue, to get that kind of self-reliance and self-acceptance and
self-empowerment,
security, self-empowerment. I also connect this Corvus energy to, even though I don't have any air element or water element there, but I have always thought that I'm very strongly rooted to the earth, and I'm very grounded person, and I think people also see me like that. That I'm very calm and because of the stellium in Libra, I have kind of balance, but I'm also deep connection to. That's maybe also connected to this Lilith and Corvus. I don't know. But that's the beauty of this galactic astrology, because it brings these elements from our connections to the other other stars or star systems, that may personal qualities that we have actually come from other places than Earth. And that's how I feel that, okay, even though I don't have any Earth element there, that comes from there. Because I connect Corvus also very strongly to, and I have witnessed it with my clients also, that they see this connection to shamanism or all the pagan beliefs and druidism. As myself, I feel that strongly visions and recollections that I've been a druid priestess, or I don't know what's the word, but anyway, I have very strong connection to that also.
Really good. The occult interest and abilities, psychic abilities certainly come through Corvus. I've seen that many times too. But that grounded frequency, I would usually sense that through Izar, because of that frequency of the deep ancestors that were rooted in the ways of harmony with nature, harmony with cosmos. And druids, I would connect that to also to Izar. So we'll invite the audience what they feel like. You know, these stars are astrologically in a close by degrees, so kind of they mix together these energies. There is a connection between the two. Really, really good. It's so when it manifests. You also have your Pluto conjunct Super Galactic Center very closely. So your Pluto is also in Libra, but in third house, but conjunct Super Galactic Center. So truly the importance of mastering relationships has been part of your kind of focus or mission here. And it's been transformational by the sounds of it, indeed, as Pluto usually is like that. It's intense and it's transformational.
That is kind of the beauty of letting go of these things, that we can start to appreciate our challenging experiences and see how they evolve us.
Absolutely. Now, Tiina, would it be okay if we come to your website and so let me share my screen if that's all right. To find your website, people need to go to kosminenhatara.fi for Finland, and then Galactic Astrology Services. The link is actually on our website where we list the practitioners. We will find you there, so we can just click. So you offer your services in Finnish language, but also in English. Is that correct?
Yes, indeed.
So you have this kind of homepage for Galactic Astrology, beautifully translated all into English. And what stood out for me, and I was so excited to see it, that you are working with Sedna, the most outer object in our solar system. And you have also just translated a blog there from Finnish into English in time for this podcast. And even today's client, there was a connection to Sedna that was interesting. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
I have keen interest on her. She intrigues me a lot, and I want to study her. And I always look at the where it's in client's chart when I'm doing the galactic astrology. There is the client today. She had a Sedna exact conjuncting her Chiron in the 11th house, and that package was opposing the great attractor. That alignment beautifully told kind of the bigger picture of her whole chart, of her ancient origin, soul's origin, and the wounds, how the evolution of our consciousness is playing out in her life. So yeah, absolutely. Sedna is telling a story for our times now.
Beautiful. And I think it's so fitting that you feel strongly called to include Sedna in your astrology, where the mythology is connected to the victimhood, perpetrator, or kind of empowerment story. So that theme was strong in your own experience, how you overcame that. And Sedna is such a beautiful way to really bring that theme to the forefront of your client's consciousness and to see how they can kind of clear those limiting unconscious behavioral themes and become more empowered. This is so, so good. And it's great to see it connected with galactic astrology. You know, our calculator right now on galacticastro.chart.com is being developed and enhanced and upgraded behind the scenes. Our wonderful software developer, Hector, is working tirelessly on creating additional features for our practitioners, for the practitioner course that have access to login. And I was so excited to find out that we will be able to include other objects in there, including Sedna in future.
Wow.
I believe by 2024, sometimes by spring or beyond, our practitioners will be able to have that incorporated in the charts that they can offer then to the clients. So that's really, really good. We might then bring you in for the video call for you to share your experiences with Galactic Astrology Incorporated, Sedna, for our community. No pressure. Really good. And so, Tiina, where do you see yourself going forward now as you started to experience working with clients, bringing galactic astrology and kind of developing your own intuitive ability of delineating chart using not just your left brain through the astrology and everything that you've studied, but really applying also your deep intuitive and kind of psychic skills that come through also so clearly through your galactic astrology alignments. Do you feel certain kind of niche or direction forming for you? Where is your heart calling you? What you would like to focus on? Perhaps like what we've mentioned already. Is there anything else?
Actually, this is a thing I've been thinking now, because I have 3 different kind of sessions, and so far I have had clients who had wanted each of those, and I feel that they serve their own purpose. The first one is kind of a quick look if one wants to kind of have assurance that, okay, what are my alignments, and how I have seen it many times now that if I'm asking intuitively about the soul origin or the soul color, it comes through also in the chart. So the astrological natal chart is so brilliant symbol for all of us to tell us the stories that our soul has for us to manage this incarnation here. So and I want to say this is the first time in my life I know that I'm doing the thing that my heart and soul wants. So I'm just so excited that I'm sure that when I'm aligned with my heart and my my higher self, I know that I'm doing the right things, and that's my guidance. And for now, I don't have any other plans.
That's so happy for you. So you started talking about the first package or first type of the session to give people kind of introduction or reassurance of their essence and how that manifests in their life. What is the second one and what is the third one? Would you like to take us through that too?
Yeah, sure. The second one goes deeper. I look at the moon's nodes because they are so beautifully tell where our soul wants to go in this life and where we are coming from. So we look at that and more tune into the messages that star nations maybe are telling us through the chart. And the third one is really thorough. We go all the houses or the life areas, and that's kind of a 1.5-hour session, and then we have a follow-up call, and there is kind of everything for the moment.
The comprehensive.
So Yeah.
I love that. Really beautiful. Well done. Well, is there any other either story or message that you would like to include in your podcast recording for the audience?
Well, maybe this symbol that is kind of very dear for me, because I had this vision in 2020 about this world tree. I have that in my web pages there. And how I see it, that this world tree is this symbol for us to this age, that we kind of have to be very grounded in this earth. And at the same time, we look to the skies and look to the other dimensions. So, and actually I have planted seeds, to actual seeds, Sequoia tree seeds, which I have my vision that in 1,000 years there will be growing Sequoia trees in Finland, in kind of a living symbol for us. So
that is so beautiful, Tiina. May it inspire others to do something like that too. What an act and a message. Oh, I love that. That'll really stay with me. I also really admired the way you described yourself on the listing of our certified practitioners, and it kind of ties in with what you just said, that you feel you are a person with your head in the sky, really connecting to so many beautiful cosmic energies, but you also feel really firmly grounded in the earth, here now, connecting with this incarnation. So that's so important in this type of work. So really beautiful. I really do feel that motherly cosmic supportive energy coming through you. I really feel that strong, protective, divine feminine energy in you and coming through you. So I'm just so grateful that you are guided to this work. And I look forward to people who will feel in deep resonance with what you're sharing and with your story and with the style of how you deliver information, and that they can look forward to amazing session. So one last question, actually. Do you bring the quantum energy healing into the sessions, or that's a separate service that you offer? Is it a remote healing, like kind of like a Reiki energy healing? Would you compare that, or is it different?
It is a remote healing, and it's kind of a progress now, because today's client, I felt that when I was doing her chart, I was kind of doing the energy healing at that moment. I'm kind of planning or thinking that I will make kind of package that after the actual chart reading, we have maybe at the same time or maybe later, because I feel that this chart reading, I have only these Zoom video calls or in person, but anyway, I feel strongly that it starts really strong process anyway. So this energy healing is good.
I feel that strongly for you, and it's beautiful how life kind of just shows you or directly through the experience that actually this is natural for you, and it's beneficial. It makes so much sense. I feel a strong yes in my body, and it's beautiful because your ability is to reach really far distances. Like when just a little prayer that we did together before we started recording, I felt my being expanded really far. Like there's certain kind of metaphoric symbology that I am shown internally, and it was extreme distances and lengths of cosmic consciousness, but you also feel really grounded and strong, firm here. So you're such a beautiful and amazing conductor for something like that, where powerful energies can come through and be grounded or recalibrated to suit the current incarnation. So perhaps as you reveal a lot of information to your clients about their history, their soul records, some of the important stories that are coming through, as they hear it already, there is a healing kind of happening on many levels. And for you to be trained in quantum energy healing is such a beautiful advantage that certainly should be mentioned and incorporated in your sessions. It's really good. I'm excited for you and for your clients.
Thank you. I'm excited also. This is so beautiful work we do. And thank you, Julia, for teaching us everything and we can all expand from there.
Yeah, we grow together, most certainly. One more question I have for you is about your way of grounding after the session, because you spend so many hours tuning into the energies, the records, the chart. There is a lot of focus that and energy that you spend in service to your client. What do you do for your own body, for your own well-being? How do you replenish yourself and kind of disconnect then and come back to your own life experience? What's your techniques?
Go out to the forest, and I regularly go to, even now it's winter, I go to the ground and do the snow angels or go go to the frozen lake. I didn't mention or forgot to say that I studied also Seidai Shiatsu.
Shiatsu.
Yeah, a few years ago. And I have noticed that in this time we have so many strong energies coming, even with this, without this work, but this work kind of enhances that we have so much strong energies going. So this I do this shiatsu massage to myself, to my head mostly, because there are so many
meridians
going on there. So I have found out that this is very, very good way to relax your body from all kinds of energies.
That's brilliant. And that helps me realize why I have been doing that lately. I literally just started massaging, especially the neck and the head. Thank you for that. I want to bring in one more thing about your chart. You have Jupiter in Sagittarius, which is such a important alignment that brings a lot of positive attitude and really good, almost like a spiritual protection, or like good opportunities, good realizations that come through you, like finding always a way out of difficulty or challenges or anything dark and heavy. Like with that Jupiter in Sagittarius, I always find it such a blessing where it can help you kind of bring you to the other side. But yours is in 5th house, and you also have your part of fortune in the 5th house, which is about kind of passionate, playful creativity. So when you mentioned those snow angels practice, and even as we were doing the prayer at the end, what you wanted to include in our grounding prayer was to bring frequency of joy into it. And I think that's such a nice manifestation of your Jupiter in Sag in 5th house. So that's a really good side to you too. And certainly the paintings behind you have that frequency of joy as well. I love them.
Yeah, the painting is it is the way, very colorful worlds from somewhere. That's the way.
Do you know what? I think it is your Jupiter in Sagittarius in 5th manifesting, and it's opposing Hyades, and your Saturn is conjunct Hyades in 5th house. And Hyades, every time someone has Hyades, whether conjunct, and you have it in multiple placements, there's always connection to art, visual art, or other form of art. So yet again, manifestation Hyades, there's always art, artsy side to the person with that connection. So I just think so that's so beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Tiina. This was so rich. I really hope that this will serve the viewers as well, and may you be blessed with beautiful, beautiful connections with your future clients, and we'll look forward to stay connected and see what new discoveries we will reach together. Much love to you all. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.